Yeah, so a little bit of an initiative that's outside the box, which kind of fits here in Abbotsford. People will recognize that it's Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and it's also Valentine's Day on Friday, so we decided to see if we could combine the two. And essentially what we're trying to do is take the cell phones and electronic devices out of drivers' hands, and in this specific instance, we're going to put them in our own. We're going to use our desk phones, and we're going to start phoning people's Valentines if they sort of play along with us to improve road safety. So specifically, all a person has to do is send an email to roadsafety@abpd.ca, a one-line commitment not to drive distracted or use an electronic device, and then the daytime phone number and the name of their Valentine. And our staff on Friday morning will start making Valentine's calls to let their loved ones know that, first of all, they're loved on Valentine's Day, and that the driver or loved one is committed to road safety as well.
How big of a priority is road safety and distracted driving to the Abbotsford Police Department?
Well, I think it's a huge priority to all police in the province, and we have unfortunately seen now distracted driving collisions, injuries, and deaths start to compete with speed-related and impaired-related collisions. And so it's got to be a priority for all of the commuting public, certainly pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists.
What should people do with their devices when they're driving?
Well, they shouldn't use them, and what is remarkable is we are 4 years out from this legislation that has given police a tool, but people are still refusing to abide by the laws. We don't have difficulty in nailing distracted drivers who are still on their electronic devices. Last Friday is a good example. In just a couple of hours, our patrol officers stopped 80 drivers, 80, who were out there on their cell phones. And so obviously the absorption isn't there yet, and despite the messaging and despite the enforcement, people won't pay $20 or $40 for a Bluetooth device. They still are holding the devices in their hands and therefore jeopardizing the safety of other drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists.
Do you feel distracted driving has gotten worse than impaired driving?
It's certainly competing. I don't know that it's worse, but to people who are victims, whether they are injured or obviously if they're fatalities, there's no difference. If you're hit by a car or if a car collides with your vehicle, there's going to be repercussions from that collision, and it's not going to matter whether the person's impaired, whether they're speeding, or whether they're on their electronic device. It won't be any consolation to you if you're injured, if you're in hospital, or worst case scenario, if you're no longer with us.
Anything you want to add?
Just that this is a sincere initiative on our part, and we're hoping to do two things. One is to join people and take that cell phone out of their hands with what we think is a little bit of a fun kind of program here. But the message at the end of the day is to save lives.